Welcome to the video. So this video is going to be probably a very long one. We're going to be doing a lot of decoding, and I have probably as many, if not more, points to go over than the last video, which ended up being close to an hour long. But in this one, I think we've just fully blown open the enemy's symbolism, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with this video, and I think you guys are going to like it a lot. So before we begin here, I'll just read a quick and simple gospel. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And that's all you have to do. All you have to do is believe in him. It doesn't matter how good of a person you've been in your life, or how often you've gone to church, or given to charity, or even prayed. The only thing that matters is believing in his sacrifice on the cross and what he did for us. That is our only way to salvation. It's the narrow gate. It's what separates us from the 10,000 religions in the world that all believe that they're saved through their own good deeds or their own good works. The truth is the only path to salvation is believing in his sacrifice and what he did for us. It's a free gift, and all we have to do is accept. Sorry, all we have to do is accept it. That's all you have to do. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the notes here. So this is going to be a pretty analytical video as far as my videos go. So we're gonna go over everything like pretty slow. I'm not gonna speed through this by any means. To start though, we're gonna do a kind of recap here. So this will be important for a lot of the video. So if you haven't watched the last video, I recommend going and doing that first. Otherwise, this one probably won't make as much sense. But so in terms of enemy numerical symbolism, the most important, the most reoccurring ones that they have are 923. Which you would think is September 23rd. But what we found out in the last video is 9 is actually the ninth constellation, which is Sagittarius, the Archer constellation. And the 23 is the 23rd day. So we're looking at the moon in Sagittarius on the 23rd day, which occurs on March 23rd. So this is our potential beginning of the tribulation. So I'll actually go to Stellarium now real quick just to show you exactly where that is. So we have March 23rd, 2025. We have our third quarter moon in Sagittarius. So that's our ninth constellation and the 23rd day. So I believe that's exactly what we're being shown here with that. So this will be very important for the rest of the video because in essence, the rest of the decoding that we're going to be doing here in terms of like numerical values is you're going to find that the rest of their primary symbolism numerically has mixed values in it. It's not necessarily like a date and a date. You'll find like, for instance, like a moon phase, and then like the other one will be a specific date. So it'll be confusing for some, but like that's why I'm going to try and go through this very slowly to make it make the most sense. But throughout the rest of the video, the primary numerical values we're going to be looking at are 314, which would appear to be March 14th, and then 1010, which if you've studied symbolism or you observe symbolism, you'll see very often as well. This is your XX, like XX on the eyes of like, let's pull up, let's go Nirvana. Spelled that wrong. I forget what this album's called. Nirvana album. I just saw it actually. Let's go back. Right there. Maybe it's just their band logo. I'm not a Nirvana fan by any means. But yeah, there's your XX, and it's very, very common symbolism. And we're going to see, I have a very, very interesting confirmation, which I'm going to leave towards the end of this video. But it'll confirm like how far back their symbolism really goes. And I think even that might not be scratching the surface. So that'll be very interesting, but that'll be towards the end of the video. So actually, let's go over to here. So the first thing we're going to go over here is we're going to watch a clip and look at a couple pictures from Back to the Future. And then we're going to talk about decoding what we're seeing within that video. So as you see, I have like a million windows open again. So here's the scene from Back to the Future where I think they time travel for the first time here. So I'm just going to play this now. And what do you know, I have the sound on for the first time ever. Okay, so what you're being shown here, the first thing you'll notice is you have your pi symbol right here. So that's your 314. And then as we keep the video going, you got a 9 appearing up here. So there's your 911. So for reference, this movie was made in, I believe, 1985 or 83. Not particularly important for this video, but what you can kind of get from that is like that was before this event here. So they have this event, and then our pi here is what we believe to be, or what I think will be the second kind of major event. So we're gonna back it up even more. We're gonna look at one more thing in this scene. So you got Doc, this Doc character here, and he runs away, and he's holding up his right arm. So when I saw this, I thought, you know what? I bet the Statue of Liberty holds up her right arm, or his. Like this could be, you could see it as the Statue of Lucifer, but that's not going to be the topic of this video. So which arm is the Statue of Liberty holding up? So, of course, it's the right hand. So there is your connection within that video to show you that both of these events are going to take place or have or and will take place in New York. So that's what they're showing you with the right hand there, or the right arm up. So the first thing that you would observe from this is you would think that this pi represents your pi blood moon, which occurred on March 14th. I'll just pull that up because I'll try and cite everything here. So March blood moon 2025. So there's your blood moon that occurred on March 14th, 2025. Blood moon's also known as a lunar eclipse. So you would think that that's what's being shown to you there, but as we continue, I'll show you that it's not a precise date that they're showing you. So with this one here, this is a precise date. This is September 11th. So you would think that with the rest of the symbolism they'll show you, it's a precise date or a date in general, but that's not actually the case. So we're going to go to another picture here. And we have this is also from Back to the Future. So this is from the start of the movie, and this is from the end. So obviously here you can discern the exact same thing just by like flipping the 6 around, and then you just unscramble it essentially. You have your 911, and then you have your 314. So again, you're probably thinking, what you're being shown here is a precise date, because that's a precise date. They're showing you September 11th there, so this must be March 14th. But I'm going to show you how that's not the case. What they're showing you here with the pi in the other video, and then 314 here, is not a date, but a moon phase. So buckle up for this one here. So, so we're going to go down here, and we have our... So I discovered the first half of this. So actually, there's two points to this. I discovered them on different days. During in my morning routine, I get a coffee and I drive down this one road, and I do it pretty well every morning. And at the exact same point in this journey, I came to both of these points just on different days. So in the conversation I had with Raw Repent on either his post or my post, what we were looking at was a 314 to 316 departure date for the church. And within their symbolism, the most common things that they showed you are a blood moon and a third quarter moon. These are incredibly recurring. So you would think that these are not, or you would think these are mutually exclusive. This one's obviously within the month of March on 322, and this one was on 314. So obviously the church can't depart on both of these dates. So what I figured was that the third quarter moon was actually pointing to 314. So I'll show you how that is here. So we have third quarter. That is 3 with a slash 4, so third quarter. And then we're going to make the assumption that the slash is actually just a 1. So then we come to 314. And then you're at 314, so then you may as well just make your date with that, and then there's your March 14th there. So what I thought was that our third quarter moon was actually just pointing to March 14th. So the interesting thing is that it actually can point back the other way. So this is my second kind of coffee drive journey. I figured this one out. So we got our March 14th, our pi blood moon date right there. So we're just going to go ahead and remove the slash in the middle. So then we're left with 314. And then as we did in this one, just going to turn the 1 kind of slanted, and that just becomes our slash again. So that gives us our third quarter, which is just our third quarter moon on March 22nd. So I'll just pull that up in the Moon Giant. And we're going to go to the moon phase calendar. So there's our third quarter moon, which is lit on the left side on the 22nd. So in actuality, I think what you're being shown here with all the 314 symbolism, as it's not just limited to uh, like the date per se with the slash, a lot of their symbolism just has 314. That's your pi. You'll have 314 in a lot of cases, but what I believe you're being shown here is actually just third quarter moon. So if we go back to the Back to the Future symbolism here, even though you're being shown the pi symbol here, what I think ultimately you're being shown is the third quarter moon. So that'll become a little more clear when we look at our other picture here. So if you just unscramble this, you have 314, and then the 1 just becomes a slash. So there's third quarter. So in actuality, what you're being shown here, similar to our 923, where the 9 was a constellation and then the 23 was a day. This is a precise date. This is a date here, and then this is a moon phase. So understanding how this kind of worked in their symbolism allowed me to kind of blow open their symbolism for other things, which we're going to cover later in this video. But yeah, in order to understand their symbolism, you have to understand that they're going to mix time markers up, like precise date, moon phase, and then we go to our notes, and then you have constellation, day of the month. So I think this is key in understanding their symbolism. Is they're not going to make it easy for you, and it takes kind of like a bit of wisdom to understand this. So I think I think I said in my last video that was the most important video I'll probably ever make, but I think this one's gonna top it. It's gonna be it might seem a little confusing for some, but just keep looking at it and you'll see it. And yeah, just keep looking. But so that's only the first point we're gonna cover here. But the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look at a bit of their symbolic movies or their predictive programming. And then we're going to see how their date, March 14th, is still, again, just pointing to third quarter moon in March, which is March 22nd. So as you'll see with all of this, it's all going to be pointing to this date right here, or the day after, like 323. So we're going to look at a couple things here. So we're going to look at this movie here. So this is The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Was released on March 14th, 2025. So before we reach this date, I figured like, oh boy, this is gonna be the date. Like they're even encoding it in a movie. But what I've kind of come to learn recently is that they don't work in that kind of simplicity, and you'll never be able to look at something like in every movie where there's like an apocalypse or like an apocalyptic event. The day that it happens is September 22nd to 23rd. So you would think, obviously, if it happened on September 22nd or 23rd, most people could just point their fingers and figure out that like this was like prearranged as all of this is. But I don't think they work in that type of simplicity where you would be able to point to something like that. I think it always takes at least one step, or everything is like one or two steps removed. So what you're being shown here is obviously March 14th, 2025. But actually, what you're being shown here is 3/4, third quarter moon phase. So this is where in the book of Matthew, it says, have eyes to see and ears to hear. This is where only people with eyes to see are going to see this. Anyone who has their eyes closed spiritually are going to see this and think, oh, you're being silly. This could not be a moon phase. But that's the importance of being kind of spiritually aware and being open to this sort of thing. But yeah, that's what you're being shown there, and we're gonna go to another one here. So I hope this video is not too confusing, but I think most of you are pretty smart. You'll be able to see this. But yeah, so we go to Civil War here. This is a movie about a civil war in America. And back in October, the Lord gave me a dream where I had a glimpse of a modern civil war, and I'm sure you can imagine which country it was in. So that kind of set me down a path where uh, having to think about how this could possibly happen, and then kind of like decoding their symbolism through that sort of lens. And I think this is something that is particularly planned. So the release dates, although not released in theaters, I believe this is like a film festival or something. This was the first date it premiered, March 14th, 2024. So again, 3/14, third quarter moon phase. So this is how they're doing that, kind of like one step removed from you actually seeing the date that these things are going to occur on, which it's very, very smart. It's like it's very intelligent, but I think once I think in this video and the last one we've really broken it down so where we see through all of this sort of stuff. But yeah, very, very, very interesting there. So I think what you're going to see on this date is going to be the catalyst for all of these events. So that's the importance there. And then I should have written down the name of this person who pointed this out to me. I think I did credit them in a post, but this was either yesterday or the day before. Google puts up their third quarter moon phase. For context, they didn't place this for any other moon phase within the month, specifically just the third quarter moon phase and a few days before it. So this is your hint. This is when it's gonna go down. So very, very, very interesting. They post that just before, and no other moon phases that month. So very, very interesting there. One more thing. This is kind of like a collection of where they're hiding that third quarter moon phase. So the next one, we're gonna look at the Simpsons episode where Bart tore down the Springfield sign. So I did a decode of this video already. I think for the most part it was correct, although I'll show you where I was not correct here. So,
Mom, stuck something in my backpack.
So they have this note here from Bart's mom. Before you do whatever it is you're doing, have some fried chicken. Love, Mom. So within the context of this, for the next like 2 minutes and like the remainder of the episode, they say chicken like 6 or 7 times. It's almost like what is in your face. They say it so often. So for me, this was a big hint as to what we should be looking at. So I'm going to go to gematria here. And this is almost a double, this actually is a double confirmation, I believe. So we're going to put in chicken. So what you're being shown here is, I believe this was March 8th here. So what I now know is this is this is 3/8 on the Julian calendar. So we're going to go to our calendar here. And we're looking at, this is our, let's just call it our D-Day. So this is our D-Day here. So on the Gregorian calendar, which is just the standard calendar everyone uses, we have March 22nd here. And then the Julian calendar is 13 days behind. So or roughly 13 days. We go back and we have our March 8th right here. So that's our first check in the box. And then if we use first and last letter code, we have C, which is 3, and then N, which is 14. So there's our 3/14 again, which as we know now is not a date, but a moon phase. So there's our double confirmation on that. So we have our 3/8, our Julian date, and then we have our moon phase, which our third quarter moon occurs on March 22nd. So I wanted to put out a video that was titled "Chicken is the Key," just to be funny. But now I realize exactly what we're being shown here. But like, chicken really is the key. Like, you have your Julian date and then your moon phase mixed all in here. So very, very interesting. Chicken is most definitely the key. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. And I'm just gonna have a sip of tea here so I don't die. So this next one here is, we're going to look at this event which occurred at the French Open tennis Open in 2022. This one is super interesting. We're going to take our time with this one. So this is the one of the pictures from the event here. So you have this girl here. So she's a climate activist, kind of protester, and she went and she used like a padlock and then tied herself to the tennis net. So they give us so much information in this picture and then like the related pictures you would not believe. So the first thing that we're going to do here, I'm going to look at my notes. We're going to do the dates and the Strong's Concordance. So the first thing that you're going to notice when you look at this event here, so this happened on June 3rd, 2022. And in about 50%, if not more, of the pictures, she's holding up her right hand. So you'll see that in all of these pictures here. So typically what they're showing you here is the hand is 5. So there's 5. If they're holding up 2 hands, that's 10. But what she's showing you here is 5. So in most cases, we would think to add the 5. So then we would have 1,033. But I'll show you why that's not the case. And I'll show you why we actually subtract it. So we're going to go over to our date calculator here. And we're going to have our where we're looking at as the departure of the church. And then we have where the event occurred. So June 3rd, 2022. And the difference here is 1,023 days. So if you looked at this from kind of like simplicity, you would think they're showing us we have 1,028 days left. And you're seeing that's not the case here. But if we subtract the hand, we take 5 off, that brings us to our date right here, as well as our 1,023 days. So I'll show you why this is actually correct. So within the context of this protest, it's like a climate activist, and what they're trying to portray here or convey is that we have 1,028 days left to decide or to determine the fate of the world by some calculation, whatever they do. But yeah, 1,028 days is what we have left to determine the future of humanity. That in essence is the protest there. So determine, decide. Let's see if they say decide on here. No. This is important. You'll see why. Pardon me. So I guess they don't have it here. So another very interesting thing, which I'm going to touch on later in this video, is that some of this stuff is beginning to be removed. So I'll show you exactly how later in this video. But when I typed this in previously, I had like a big AI answer come up that gave me like all of the information. And that was about 2 days ago, and now that's just gone. So that's very, very interesting, and we're going to talk about that later. But they should have determine on here quite a bit. Yeah, it's like we have 1,028 days left to determine, etc. So determine is going to be our keyword here. So within our day calculation, we have 2 years, 9 months, 19 days. So 2919. And we're going to go over here to Strong's Greek for 2919. And wouldn't you know it? To judge, to decide, to determine. So to decide, to determine. That was the whole kind of what was being conveyed with that protest. So that is our confirmation. There's going to be more confirmations, but that's our confirmation that this is, in fact, the day, or let's go over to the date thing. This is, in fact, the date we're looking at here. So that's our confirmation from Strong's. And there's going to be more confirmations in here. So there's actually a confirmation within her shirt here. So if you look at it backwards, we're going to assume what we have here is our 82nd day, and then the 1 is just give or take per time zone. So let's go days of the year numbered. Yeah, I feel like this video is going to be super long, but that's all right. We're having fun. So we're going to go down here to March 22nd and 23rd. So 23rd is our 82nd day of the year in March. So we're going to go back. I'll close that so I don't have a million tabs up here. Okay, so 82nd day of the year, which is our March 23rd, give or take 1 day. So that could be put us on the 22nd, 24th, depending on time zone and other variables. But yeah, that's exactly that's our second confirmation that we're actually not looking at 1,028 days, but we're looking at 1,023 days. So that one's very interesting. And now we're going to get into the really interesting stuff here. So if you look on the tennis post here, you have 3 things. You have Roland Garros, RG, and then Paris. So we're going to look at all 3 of those in gematria here. So we're going to pull gematria. We'll get chicken out of there. And first we're going to look at Roland Garros. So Roland Garros in reverse gematria shows us exactly what we're looking for here. We got 82nd day, give or take 1. So there's our confirmation. It's right on our shirt. It's just like back. It's in different order. So there's our first confirmation there. And we're going to work our way down to RG. So if you had any doubt what year it was that this is going to take place, ordinal, there's your 2025. So bam. And we're going to work our way down to Paris here. So if you had any doubt as to what is going to take place here, so we have 63 ordinal and 72 reverse, and you could probably see it right away, but we have 9 and then 9 here, so 99. And let's throw in rapture, and boom, 99 in ordinal. So they tell you everything here. You got the day count, you get the actual day of the year here, you got another confirmation of that day of the year, you got the year itself, 2025, and then you have the event in Paris. So incredible picture or event. And then what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, in terms of Paris here, this also confirmed another thing for me. So if you haven't seen American Gods season 1, I recommend watching that, although I don't think we have very much time left to do much of anything. But yeah, if you got Amazon Prime, give it a look. And that season is just filled to the brim with symbolism. It's incredible for kind of narrowing down the time frame and like the astronomical events and such. So very, very important. But the main character, his name is Shadow Moon, and whenever he goes to the gym to do boxing, he takes off his wedding ring and he puts it on an Eiffel Tower, or not, like a little miniature Eiffel Tower. And I kept thinking, like, what is being shown to us here? Like, what could be conveyed? So I was looking at the Eiffel Tower. I couldn't find anything. And now I know that what's being shown to us is that Paris has our rapture number hidden within it in the reverse and ordinal. So very, very interesting. That was nice to know that, like, I guess I couldn't figure that out, and it was like not sitting well with me, but now I know. So they're showing us the rapture number there. So 99, very important. But yeah, that's everything to do with that picture. So I'm gonna just start closing down tabs here so you don't have like a million open. So the next thing we're going to look at here is actually, this might be probably the most interesting thing within the video. So so with my channel here, I don't contain all the symbolism that's out there. The best channel for like kind of exhaustive compilation of all their symbolism is Raw Repent videos, where he'll just have like a 2-hour long video where you'll see something like this, or your 314 occurred in movies and symbolism for just like 2 hours. Like he compiles everything together. I'm not going to do that here. We're just going to look at a few examples, and then we're going to kind of analyze what exactly we're being shown. So let's go here. So first one we're going to look at here is a nerdy little Elon Musk here. So he does, sorry if that sounded mean. I do not like this guy. But he does this little nerdy jump here whenever he gets on stage, and well, he does it twice. So, and what you're being shown here is XX. So 2 X's. That was so mean. Well, he's not a great guy if I'm right about this, but so we have XX here. So that's what's being shown. And then we go to the start of iPet Goat here. So we have the puppeteer. This is like almost the very first scene. And again, XX. So they're showing you XX here. So this one I just figured out today, like just this morning, just driving after my coffee. That seems when everything comes to me. But yeah, so we're showing XX again there, and we're gonna go to our last one here. This is from the short story film Journey. So he gets on this train here, and this if you haven't seen this video, it's filled with rapture symbolism. But again, on the seats here, there's your XX. So it's very important as it shows up in a lot of different things, but we're going to unpack exactly what XX could be. So I found 2 answers, and the interesting thing is that they almost overlap in date. It's a 2-day period. So I'm going to go to the calendar here. So the second date is actually not on this, but the first one is, I believe it is our Enochian 12/4 date. So I'll show you how here. So XX, we're going to assume the first X is just X in Roman numerals, which is 10. So we'll cite everything. Roman numeral So x in Roman numeral represents the number 10. So we're going to assume the first one is just 10. So we have 10 here. And then we're going to assume the next one is actually just the ordinal value of x. So we're going to go to gematria here, whatever that is. And we're just going to put an x. X has an ordinal value of 24. So what we would have here is then 1024. So then the next question is, what does 1024 represent? So I looked at this from the similar perspective of the 923. So I figured 10 is our 10th constellation, which is Copernicus, the goat constellation, the sea goat. So funny enough, on our 24th day, the moon is in Copernicus. So we're going to go pull that up in Stellarium here. We're going to go forward to 24, and that's just the very start of the day. Let's just move forward a little bit. So towards the end of the day, and I guess like the middle of the day, you have the moon entering Copernicus here. So you have your 10th constellation, and then 24th day. So March 24th, 2025. So this could very well be, in fact, what you're being shown here. With XX, you have 1024, 10th constellation on the 24th day. So that would fit perfectly, and it would almost be in the same vein of our 923 here. So that would definitely make sense. The second one we're going to look at here is we're going to actually just take 1024 again, and we're going to change that into 12/4. So 12th month, 4th day. So we're going to go look at our calendar here again. And this is the date we're looking at. This is the next day for kickoff, quote unquote. And then we go to our Enochian calendar, and it's 12th month, 4th day. And that falls right in line with our 3/8. On our Julian, we have our March 22nd here on the Gregorian. So this just fits very, very well. So it fits in the day here. So that would give us a span of 2 days here. That would give us our March 22nd to 24th. So I'm not going to stress too much which interpretation is right here, as it's pretty much on the button of like the same date. Like you're looking at a two day separation here. I was originally leaning towards this interpretation with the constellation and then the day, just because it fits so well with what we were also being shown here with the 923. It at the end of the day, it could mean both things, but I think in terms of like the main event, quote unquote, which I believe is happening on the 22nd, it just fits right in there with our Enochian date. So it could mean both, it could mean one. It doesn't really matter to us. It's still like bracketing in the same time period. So that's the importance of that. But the next thing we're going to look at here is actually, this may confirm which one it is, and this is probably the nuttiest confirmation I've ever found on something. Like this is just gonna blow your mind. So this morning, before I figured out the whole 1010 thing, what I googled was 1010 New York. So this is actually the first thing that came up. So WINS, this is like the radio station in New York, and yeah, 1010 is the AM frequency, and then wouldn't you know it, the FM frequency is 923. So there's our both two of the three most prominent numerical symbolisms right there. So I knew this was going to be great, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. So we're gonna, if this was not like crazy enough, and it happened to be in New York, which is going to be ground zero for the main event. And then we go down here, first air date, October 24th, 1924. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So we have 10th month, 24. So 1024 right there. Like, that absolutely confirms that what we're looking at is then the XX being 10, and then the other X being 24. So there's our confirmation right there. And not only that, it started in 1924, which is 100 years ago today. So that alone is like significant too. So let's see what else we got here. The station was bought. I haven't even looked at the rest of the stuff. This was crazy enough for me. But the station was bought by William Randolph Hearst in 1932. There's our 923 again right there. So maybe after this video I'll keep looking through this. Like it's definitely very very interesting. But another thing that you'll get from this is that like the kind of symbolism goes back to 1924, and even this date here I don't even think scratches the surface in my opinion. I believe it could go back like way farther than this, but this just kind of shows you like this kind of symbolism was planned like literally 100 years ago. So this in itself is probably one of the more important things I've included in on this channel. So that one's incredibly interesting. But yeah, that confirms not only our XX, but that confirms our 923. So that kind of gives credence that like the 1024 we're looking at is actually just 12.4 on the Enochian. That would make the most sense for me because our 923 is confirmed here, and then our XX is confirmed here. So, and then that radio station confirms both of them. So, wildly interesting on that one. But yeah, that gets out of we're now out of like the kind of analytical area of what I wanted to show for this video. And the next part is a little bit of we're definitely going to slow it down a bit here. So an interesting thing I wanted to cover, which I made a post about, so I'll just pull up that post here. Holy cow, first on Google search there. Oh, I don't think anyone else has the name, but we're making waves. Okay, so this one's very interesting. So American Gods, again, like very, very highly symbolic show. And what I was watching it last night, and then I looked and it has season 1 leaves Prime Video in 3 days, which last night, 3 days later, would be the 22nd. So the date that we're looking at for the departure of the church, one of the most important symbolic shows is now leaving their streaming service. So I was like, that's just crazy timing. Like, what on earth? So I have the point of this point that I'm going to be I'm talking about here is that I think a great deal of their symbolism is going to be being pulled like right after the church is gone. Like for one, I have no doubt that my YouTube channel is going to be removed. Like I have no doubt in the world that's getting removed. That's why I've backed it up like so many different places. But yeah, I think this is more so a note for the tribulation saints, but I think almost all their important symbolism is going to get pulled in any way they can. So I think once we pass that point, like the fair play is gone. They're going to try and limit like your ability to observe the things or understand what's happening. They're going to limit their symbolism. It's going to be finished after that point, I believe. Like I think like you could just see like iPad Goat 2 being taken down and other things like that. But I think this is almost a scary point, and that like it stresses the importance of leaving left behind kits, because if they're going to be removing their symbolism, as I'm sure like I can imagine like most Christian videos on YouTube or anything pertaining to Christianity is going to be removed as well. So it's a very very interesting point to think on, and that like it's going to be it's going to be easier in a way to come to Christ, and that you're going to you might realize exactly what happened like exactly after it happened, but for others who don't really have those kind of eyes to see, they're not going to it's going to be a much more difficult time for them to come to that realization if they've gotten rid of the rest of like the symbolism, which might like kind of clue you into what has happened. So I feel like I'm rambling a bit here, but I definitely am. But yeah, that's very very interesting that that's going to be removed. It just definitely stresses the point of having left behind kits. So yeah, definitely get those left behind kits ready. And the last point I want to talk about is something that I kind of pondered in the last video, if not like more videos prior to that. But now I believe that the tribulation will begin as the church departs. I think it's going to coincide just from reading Luke, and I'm going to read this kind of part of scripture in a little bit, but just from reading this, I do believe that the departure of the church will begin the tribulation. I don't think events are going to be entirely overlapping in a way that people think they might be. Like, I don't think you're going to have the covenant with the Antichrist, and then the two witnesses appear on the same day, and then perhaps like another event. Like I don't think this is going to run uh, on like the exact same timeline. I think you're gonna have certain events that are almost staggered. But ultimately, I think the tribulation period ultimately begins when the church is gone. Another confirmation is that for that is I'm not going to get the verse off the top of my head here, but we are not destined for wrath. It's definitely in one of Paul's epistles, but the fact that we are not destined for wrath kind of has the connotation that wrath begins exactly when we are gone, which now I believe that is the case. Like, I think if you miss the departure of the church and you were not a believer at that time, you're now in the tribulation. I don't think there is any middle ground or like a waiting period. I think it just begins like right when the church is gone. So I'm just going to read that verse here real quick. Let's go to Luke 17, verse 26 to 30. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. So, the day of the Lord. So, what I'm kind of getting from this is that as soon as normal, quote unquote, departs, which when the church leaves, normal will just be gone for history. Like that's toast. So I think what I'm kind of getting at here is that the tribulation will begin right after the church departs, because the days of eating, drinking, marrying, I think those are gone once the church departs, because I don't think I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I think when the church departs, also not just the Christians, but you're going to have those below the age of accountability, which I'm not entirely sure what that would be, but those who are not even able to be accountable for their choices, or able to be, or coming to belief in Christ, or if they haven't come to belief in Christ and they're not accountable for their choices, they're going to be taken as well. So you have pretty well all the children, and then the Christians leave. So any sort of normality is just entirely gone. So I think the day of the Lord begins right away. That's essentially what I'm kind of getting at here. So yeah, that's just one point which I wasn't entirely sure of in previous videos, but now I'm fairly certain that like this let's just throw that right here. Yeah, March 23rd equals beginning of the tribulation. That's just my opinion. I'm definitely open to hearing like others' opinions in the comments, but for me, this is like pretty unmistakable. I think once the church departs, you're in the tribulation period, and you're there. You're locked in. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to show in this video. I'm hoping this wasn't too confusing. It was definitely one of the more analytical videos I've made, and it definitely requires kind of eyes to see, especially like this part here, having the third quarter moon equal 314, and then it going in reverse. Definitely unusual, but for all the other, everything kind of confirmed it. This is why like this last video, or the last video and this one have been, I don't know how long one's going to be, but I have to imagine it's pretty long, because everything's just coinciding right now and it's all converging, and that's a very, very good sign. I'm almost certain like this is exactly what's going to happen here, with like the departure of the church and then the tribulation beginning. For me, everything's lining up in just like a way it's never done before. So for me personally, I have very little doubt that like this is exactly what's happening here. But yeah, I think this was definitely an important video to make, and definitely one that you're going to want to be including in the Left Behind kits, because this is something that not everyone is going to come to an understanding of. Especially when you get into like mixing constellations with days or mixing moon phases with dates. It's very, very confusing, probably for a lot of people. So definitely something to include for those left behind. As like they if you look at point 9 here, they might not even have this symbolism to look at. It's gonna be I'm not I'm not good at quoting verses directly, but it's going to be when there's a famine of you'll not be able to seek the word of God anywhere. I believe that's in like the book of Daniel. But yeah, so yeah, that's everything I want to show in this video, and I hope this wasn't confusing. And yeah, just as always, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. And you probably won't hear me on another video because if I'm right, I don't think I feasibly have the time to make another video. So as far as I'm concerned, this is the last one. And I just thank all of you for the support over the. I've only been doing this for a few weeks now, but it seems like it's been longer. But I thank you guys for all the support and all the wisdom that you've shared that's allowed me to, or helped me to come to these kind of conclusions here. And yeah, it's been a good ride, and you'll definitely see some more posts from me, if not like maybe another short video. But yeah, I just thank you for everything, and yeah, God bless you. Take care. Thank you.